Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
This video has been brought to you by racism. Racism is wherever true Americans are.
Perfect.
Is reached. The hospital CEO has announced he'll be stepping down effective immediately, and a memo sent to employees and medical staff.
Sunday, a WS by the name of Mark Hall posted a video of himself on his Snapchat story. In the video, Hall can be seen driving from his driver's seat in his car, heading down the street towards a group of 9 black teenagers on bikes, yelling 50 points. You can see the children rush to move out of the way, avoid being hit. Then Hall calls them a racial slur. Parents and residents are outraged after the 9 teenage boys were nearly run down. By the name of Thomas stated this all happened Sunday afternoon while he and his friends were out riding their bikes around the neighborhood. The teens state that the driver did hit one of their bikes. 2 sons were among the group of friends. Monday, Brooks and other parents pressed charges against the accused driver. He was charged with 9 counts of enhanced simple assault. The Tippah County Sheriff's Office states that the charges are enhanced due to the actions and language allegedly used towards the teens. Hall is being held on a $45,000 bond. The Sheriff's Office states that they've reached out to federal officials about an investigation. They also added that more charges could come for Hall in the future. Parts that I left out, and this was stated by one of the teens, right? 16-year-old Jackie and Jeremiah Holmes stated this: pray and ask the Lord for forgiveness. Pray for him, be with him. I know what he did was wrong, but forgive and forget. I was never the type to be raised to hate somebody. I don't have hatred in my heart. Everybody makes mistakes, but you can always talk to God and get forgiveness. You know, much love and support to all of the young men that were there, that had to go through that incident there, where very potentially their lives could have been taken. It always amazes me that whenever things like this happen, black people are the only race, the only group on this planet that literally, as if like clockwork, they will sit up there and say, oh, you know, talk to God, ask for forgiveness. I forgave him, so since I forgave him, you should also forgive him too. What would Jesus do? All this other type of stuff. And nobody sits down and asks, why is it that black people are the only ones that literally say this? You will not hear this from another group of people that go through this on an everyday, continuous time. And here you have so many people in America that want to make it seem as though racism just doesn't exist, as if it just grew legs and just walked away because it got bored. It didn't. This is clear cut what it looks like. Just in case if you're not able to see the video by way of YouTube, potentially, just, taking that part down, which is whatever. But, the main thing is like this just should not be happening at all. This just should not be a thing. So I wanted to look up what was the population, right? So it says race, white, right? 2,705 population, which is 51.35%. Black or African American, 1,579 or 29.97%. Some other races, 562 or 10.67%. 2 or more races, 408 or 7.74%, and Asian 14 or 0.27% of Ripley. So I wanted to put those demographics directly up there, those numbers, because numbers don't lie. I find it highly amazing that you have well over enough black individuals down there that live there in that town or whatever it is, and you don't really hear too much noise about this. You don't hear too many people really speaking or say anything about this. This is why I do the stories that I do, because I find more often than not, a lot of the stories don't get represented in the media. Why is it that you don't hear anything of the WS by the name of Hall directly all over social media, all over TikTok, all over IG, all over Facebook, all over YouTube? Why don't you hear that? Because people are consistently trying to spin a narrative that racism does not exist, that racism is just some old-fashioned thing that just the older generation, still doing their Alzheimer's, dementia, type stages in their homes. But everybody else is completely absolved of that. Or if racism does take place, it's not happening to black people, but it's happening to everybody else that is not black. And that's false. I have not seen within a recent time a video of someone trying to run down a whole other group of children like this. Every single time that I get online, there's umpteen videos of things like this taking place to black people or young black persons directly out there. Makes no sense. And this is why I consistently say that black people need to go out there and arm up. Legally, go get some training. Legally, go get your license to carry. This is down south, so realistically there is no excuse. They're way more open about being able to carry versus up north. So nobody's going to give me an excuse and tell me, oh, we can't really. Nah. This is down south. This is the wild south. This is the wild west. This is what it is. So you're not going to bring me or make that excuse here. There is no excuse. The only excuse is that you would rather spend money on things that don't matter, things that can't defend you, things that are not going to add value to your life, and you literally don't care about your life or your safety or your family or your neighbors or your community. That's all it is. Like I said, black people, you cannot depend on the law. You can't depend on the courts. You can't depend on lawyers. You can't depend on this government to do the things for you that you should be able to do for yourself, and willingly so you should want to do for yourself. But like I said before, it's going to take an extreme incident, and I'm talking about ultra extreme, in order for the black community around the United States to finally stop and stare and look around and be like, you know what? We got to realistically change things. Small things on a scale like this ain't going to do nothing. It's not going to make black people budge. It's literally going to have to be something so drastic, never before seen or heard of, that will literally make black people like, we got to stop everything that we're doing. We have to all get on this mark. We have to all get on this focus. No matter how we agree or disagree, we at least got to agree on this. And that's the main thing that I've tried to tell black people before. Regardless of whatever disagreements that we have on what we agree or disagree with, at the end of the day, this is the face of reality. Now, of course, you're going to have other people that's going to try to deflect from the conversation. They're going to try to bring up but what about Chicago? What about Detroit? What about Atlanta? What about Florida? What about California? They're going to try to list all of these other issues, right? And then you're going to have the black ones that are with them, the tokens. They're going to be like, oh, well, I think a more pressing issue that black people should worry about is, what black people are doing to other black people. And I'm going to calmly say this to everybody else. If you care that much about the black community of more than which you don't even live in, for the black tokens out there, why don't you start up a group, start up an initiative, and go door to door in each one of those communities that you always like to list and you always want to hang a conversation on because you want to deflect away from the real topic? Why don't you go to those communities and start up groups, start up localized groups, and then you start working from there instead of coming here? For anybody else that is not black that want to do the exact same the same exact deflection, go with your token black friends to all of those black neighborhoods, the exact same thing that I just stated right here. I bet you won't. You'll just stay there on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, on your television. You'll just be typing away because realistically, you don't care. You realistically do not care. The only reason you want to say something is because you feel that it makes you look bad. It puts a bad light on you. But like I said before, if you feel that way, then go out there and correct all of the racists that are directly in and around your community, and especially in your family. If you feel that what we're pointing out and saying and putting a spotlight on is, making you look bad, go sit up there and fix it. I bet you won't. I bet you won't stop a man like this. You won't stop another Hall from doing something like this to some black kids or to black people. You won't. But yet you'll continue deflecting though because you feel a certain type of way.